Cheetah Chase at Holiday World and Splashin Safari is the newest water coaster at this park. Added for the 2020 season, this ProSlide creation was advertised as the world's first launched water coaster. But how does it stack up to the park's other two water coasters? In this video, I will review Cheetah Chase and discuss how it stacks up to Wildebeest and Mammoth. Cheetah Chase was the third water coaster added by Splashin Safari. The park opened Wildebeest in 2010 and it was a resounding success. The attraction immediately became not only the most popular attraction in the water park, but it was arguably more popular than anything in the dry park as well, generating hour-long queues on hot summer days. The ride was highly rated as well, as it would win the Golden Ticket Award for the best water slide in its inaugural year, and it has retained that accolade for the past decade. The success of Wildebeest led Splashin Safari to add Mammoth in 2012. This slide differentiated itself from Wildebeest by having circular rafts that could spin throughout the experience. And Mammoth was just as popular as Wildebeest, so it was another win for Holiday World. Both these water coasters were built by ProSlide, so it's no surprise that Holiday World returned to them in 2020 for yet another water coaster. But they wanted something different. So ProSlide delivered Cheetah Chase, a dual slide racing water coaster that would be the world's first launched water coaster. Now, that last point is debatable. You could argue all water coasters are launched since their uphill sections use propulsion methods such as water jets, conveyor belts, or linear induction motors to rapidly accelerate rafts uphill. I think Cheetah Chase stands out more for two things: the aforementioned racing element and the different layout. Mat racing slides are always fun for the competition, so getting that thrill on a water coaster is really neat. And unlike Wildebeest and Mammoth that focus on a series of ascents and descents, Cheetah Chase focuses more on sustaining its speed start to finish. While I personally prefer the roller coaster-like layouts of the other two water coasters, Cheetah Chase's layout allows it to offer a much different ride experience. Cheetah Chase was crammed over a pathway in Splashin Safari. It's really impressive Holiday World even managed to fit this slide where they did. The slide gives a lot of kinetic energy to the midway, since you hear the screams of riders overhead and the torrents of water gushing about. Like the park's prior two water coasters, Cheetah Chase is quite popular and had a sizable queue line when I visited. This one has shorter rafts than Wildebeest and Mammoth. It only seats 2 to 3 riders per raft, so it does not offer a single rider line like those two slides. For that reason, and the fact this is the park's newest attraction, I would recommend hitting the slide immediately after the water park opens. Cheetah Chase seats up to 3 riders per boat and requires each boat to weigh between 200 and 480 pounds. The station has a scale that gives a green or red light depending if you're within the specified weight range. Due to COVID-19 and social distancing guidelines, the staff was not pairing single riders up with groups in 2020. I suspect in future years, Splashin Safari will help pair single riders with other groups to allow them to ride Cheetah Chase. That's what they do in their other slides. One of the worst things about water slides is the grueling 5 to 6 story hike up a series of stairs. It often feels like you're at the gym rather than an amusement park. It's especially frustrating on the ones where the rafts have an elevator atop the tower, while guests need to walk up instead. Both ProSlide and Splashin Safari agreed with this notion, which is why all 3 of the water coasters at Holiday World, including Cheetah Chase, have a station more reminiscent of an actual roller coaster. This not only saves guests a lot of energy, but it also makes the ride more accessible. Cheetah Chase has a dual conveyor belt loading station, so both rafts are loaded and dispatched simultaneously. These rafts have absolutely no restraints like Wildebeest and Mammoth, but this ride isn't really about the airtime. Once seated, you and the raft you're racing slowly dip out of the station onto the horizontal launch. Unlike Mammoth and Wildebeest that have hydromagnetic launches, Cheetah Chase has a series of powerful water jets, so you are thrusted forwards and immediately launched upwards into a tunnel. The ascent, while swift, doesn't offer any airtime or positive Gs, but the visual of racing another raft next to you is exciting. Once you enter the tunnel, you are pummeled by a wave of water. Cheetah Chase has a series of water jets angled upwards to propel you uphill. So when you level off into the tunnel, the water jets are still aimed upwards. So they send a huge surge of water over your head. I couldn't help but laugh how drenching it was. You then rip around a saucer turn. These turns are engineered to turn riders faster than traditional turns in water slides, and I buy it. It really maintains the sense of speed established by the launch. You then dip down a tiny drop, getting no airtime unfortunately, and then are blasted uphill yet again. And the conclusion of this hill is like the prior ascent. There's no airtime, but there is a giant deluge of water to soak you. You then round a quick turn and dip down a small drop adjacent to the other track. While this visual looked cool in the animation, it's not all that effective in reality. The plexiglass barriers on the side of the slide are raised, and they're obscured by the constant mist produced by the slide, so you can't really see the opposing side unfortunately. This drop also provided no airtime. You then fly around a saucer turn and wind your way back towards the queue line. Then comes the finale, a sharp drop next to the queue. This is one drop in the ride that actually gives a pop of airtime because of how much speed you have entering the drop. You then rise up one last hill, again getting blasted by a torrent of water, and then cross the finish line, splashing into a runoff pool. You then slowly float back to the station, ending the ride. The closest water coaster I've ridden to Cheetah Chase in terms of the layout is Thunder Rapids at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. Thunder Rapids does not race, but it is similar in that it has a layout focusing on speed and soaking splashes over drops. The lack of drops is why Thunder Rapids is among my least favorite water coasters. I at least had tempered expectations for Cheetah Chase when I saw the layout had a lot of similarities to Thunder Rapids, but Cheetah Chase is an improvement with the racing element and the drop at the end. And the fact that Cheetah Chase starts with a launch as opposed to a conveyor belt lift like Wildebeest and Mammoth means that Cheetah Chase goes full throttle start to finish, even if the individual elements aren't as memorable as the airtime-filled drops on the park's other two water coasters. So what would I rate Cheetah Chase? I would give this water slide a 6 out of 10. I like the racing element and the sense of speed, but I do wish this slide had more drops and airtime like the park's other water coasters. I understand why this slide was different, but as I mentioned earlier, I prefer water coasters that focus on drops. It's nowhere close to matching the intensity of Wildebeest or Mammoth, but it's still a fun slide that offers a unique ride experience for the genre, and it appears to be another win for the park based on the reactions of riders. So those are my thoughts on Cheetah Chase, the launched racing water coaster at Holiday World and Splashin Safari. Have you been on this slide? How do you think it compares to Wildebeest, Mammoth, or the other water coasters out there? I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.